Hey folks, welcome to DocTalk. Today we're talking hot wire fences. So I went out here to our friends at Tarwarter. We're going to get with Abe Steinbock. We're going to go in, we're going to find out what you need to set up a good hot wire fence, keep those cows in, keep them off the road. We'll be right back after these messages.
Closed captioning brought to you by Ag Promo Source. Together we grow. Learn more at agpromosource.com. This segment brought to you by Kansas Regenerative Medicine. Your stem cells, your health, your life.
Hey folks, Dr. Dan from DocTalk here. I'm here with Abe Steinbock. We're out at Tarwarter today where we're going to talk about hot wire fencing, and it's one of those things, as we were talking off camera, Abe, that we see a lot of people going to it. It's a great alternative. Cattle are extremely sensitive to electricity, so it works really, really well. And obviously, it's something that you deal with on a day-to-day basis here. And so we thought, folks, we'd start off, we're going to kind of break this down, but we'll start out with power sources. So what are some of the things that people need to think about with power sources?
Yeah, first thing you got to think about with power sources, how am I going to light it up? So am I going to go with AC? Am I going to go with DC? Or am I going to go with solar? And most of the time what determines that is just your setup. If you're obviously out in the middle of nowhere, solar or battery is going to be our two options.
Right.
If it's something that is on the farm at the house that's somewhat close or accessible, AC is normally an option.
Good. I got 4 daughters. I'm thinking that I'll string that around the house.
That would work. That would work. Yep. You know, AC is definitely the best way to go. You get the most bang for your buck. You can just generate a lot more juice on less dollar running AC. As opposed to battery or solar.
Yeah, and so you get more power if you can plug it in. But obviously we're going to take what we can get in some of the places that we have cattle and things to that nature. So when we talk about power sources, I suppose you have to take the distance that you're going to charge into effect or into consideration as well. Yep.
Yeah, you're going to have to take the distance in effect with the power source you're buying. Doesn't matter what style you're buying, AC, DC, or solar. You're going to have to divide it out. How many strands are you willing to put up? So guys with cattle will run, a lot of times they'll run a single strand. Some guys want a little more bulletproof if they've got small calves in there. So they want something a little lower and something a little higher. So you'll see 2 and 3 strands being put up. So if you buy a charger and it's listed at 10 mile, know that that is per strand. So a 10-mile charger is going to run 1 strand for 10 miles. So just a little knowing your product so you don't underbuy on your charger and expect.
And that, and then, you know, when you talk about battery and solar, obviously the battery lasts so long, and solar kind of recharges that, you know. Any difference that you've seen as far as performance and people coming in and saying, oh, I'm never going to do that again? Or
running straight battery systems is not necessarily a thing of the past. We've got them, but the advancements in solar are so great that it serves a dual purpose. Your solar will be what the unit runs on, and the battery will back it up. So it's kind of the best of both worlds, to whereas, you know, 15, 20 years ago, it was just AC or DC. You didn't have that solar panel to continuously charge it. You know, you'd still have to drive out there once a week and either recharge that deep cell battery or swap it out, or it still was a nuisance, to where the solar panel does that for you now.
Perfect. Well, let's take a break. When we come back, we're going to get into the next area of running hot wire fence. We're here at Tarwarter with Abe Steinbock. Thanks for joining us.
To see this show and past episodes of Ag AM in Kansas, go online to agamandkansas.com.
Ag Promo Source is a unique group of marketing specialists with one mission: help your ag business grow. Each affiliate has their own area of expertise, and they work together to bring you advice, products, and services. To get started, visit agpromosource.com. Ag Promo Source. Together we grow.
Healthy cows start with the new hired hand automatic livestock sprayer. Rancher invented to provide an efficient alternative to pour-on and injectable parasite management systems. The portable design allows cattle to treat themselves head to hoof. Strategic device placement with pass-through activation technology takes the stress out of parasite treatment for cattle and the rancher, leaving more time to tend to other vital tasks on the farm. To learn more, visit cowsprayer.com. The new hired hand makes healthy cows easy.
This segment brought to you by Santa Fe Trail Meats in Overbrook. Visit us online at sftmeats.com.
Hey folks, welcome back to Doc Talk. Dr. Dan Thompson here with Abe Steinbock. We're at Tarwarter's, North Topeka. Unbelievable store. Need to come out here and check them out and see all the things that they've had. We had a fun day here, and Abe, we're talking about hot wire fences. We went through our power sources. Now we're going to talk about different things that we can run around the perimeter. And so why don't you go through and kind of talk to me the different options I have and why I might use one or the other.
Yeah, you've got several options anymore. It used to just be you had galvanized wire. Galvanized wire works great. It's still the best bang for your buck as far as dollar, especially if you're building a lot of fence. You know, aluminum has become a hot item in the last five years or so. The conductivity of aluminum is so much better than just a galvanized steel. So it carries the load further down the road a lot better.
Okay.
But the problem with aluminum is price.
Yeah.
It's going to cost you. So if you're one of those guys that you're willing to spend the extra money to get a little bit better performance, aluminum's the way to go.
Well, and then I start to think about if I'm up on a busy highway, you know, and I want to graze these corn stalks or something like that, and I just don't want to mess with it. It might be worth it a little more maybe to get something that's going to have better conductivity, that I sleep a little better. Someone not call me up saying they hit a cow or...
Right. Yeah, absolutely right. I mean, situation is so determinant as far as what area you're going to go with, as far as what product, and that's something that's real to contend with. And I would say in those high traffic areas, that's something I would definitely consider doing. So you can keep your fence hotter all the way around, which is going to in return keep more cows in, and especially when you get into dry years and the grass looks greener in the ditches or wherever.
The grass is always greener on the other side.
That's right. That's right. So
what are some of the other options? We got galvanized wire and aluminum, but I see rope.
Yep, you've got they've got poly tapes and ropes. They add some strength in the world. You know, tape, the issue that everybody had with that is the fear of it breaking because it's so much thinner than like a strand of wire or aluminum is. So, you know, they have developed some what they'll call like a turbo wire or an equibraid wire, and it's a rope that has been braided with aluminum strands. There are different levels of them out there. Some of them have 5 different strands of aluminum and 2 strands of copper in it. Some of them have 7 and 2. So they're not all created equal as far as conductivity. So it's something as a purchaser you need to be aware of. What exactly am I buying? Because one might be 20 or 30% cheaper than the other. Well, that's because it's only got 5 strands in it as opposed to 7 or 9.
Right.
So,
and they use the rope because it's and the tape because it's easier to see for the animals. Is that the reason why we go to it? Or?
Yep. A lot of your horse community like that the rope because it is easier to see, and you get those horses moving. We can tie some flags and some markers on there also to help them see that. And again, with the rope, the aluminum, the conductivity is better throughout the course as opposed to running a cheaper galvanized.
Gotcha. Well, let's take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk about the importance of grounding your fence and making sure that you have things that are going to set you up for success and keep those cows in, horses in. More with Abe here at Tarwarter's after these messages.
no matter where, no matter why. The Veterinary Health Center at Kansas State University is committed to providing quality patient care to animals and exceptional customer service to their owners. From routine checkups to emergency and specialty care, our world-renowned specialists and experienced professionals are here to discover, to teach, and to heal.
Let us know.
How can I help?
How can we help?
Sure Crop Fertilizers was started by my father, Don Sherman, and my mother, Shirley Sherman. Family business that started in the 80s. We predominantly focus on plant nutrients and what we can do to give growers better responses with the fertilizer dollars that they do, and what we can do to make those things work better for that grower. We're based out of Seneca, Kansas. We work with growers in their soil analysis to figure out what they need, and then we can put those in a blend that gives them the best results, and so that we can deliver that direct to their farm so that they have those nutrients where they need them, when they need them, and so that they can apply them in a manner that's very efficient to them and works well on their planting systems and what they're doing. Sure Crop Fertilizers has been around for a long time. We always say we're big enough to take care of everything you need, but we're small enough to do it quickly. You can get a hold of us at 1-800-635-4743. Our website is surecropfertilizers.com, and you can always email me at Corey@surecropfertilizers.com, and with any questions you have, we're glad to answer and work with you.
Did you know long-range planning through the checkoff can help keep your business profitable? To successfully pass on cattle operations from one generation to the next, it's important to promote beef and keep farms and ranches profitable. Your beef checkoff helps do that.
We're Jurger's Cattle Company, cow-calf operation primarily with a small replacement heifer operation. We started our operation in 2012, but we expanded on my father-in-law's operation, who started in the 70s, and built off his expertise and his knowledge and have taken and grown it to what it is today. We span about 4 different counties in North and South Carolina, running about 1,000 acres with 350 roughly head of mama cows. My husband and I and my son and my father-in-law operate together. About 2 years ago, we decided to make the switch to become all-natural producers. And what that means is it's a certain standard of quality and life for not only the calves that become part of the food source and the meat itself, but the cows also. Beef checkoff is important for our operation in a twofold way. First is marketing, creating a customer for us. We sell directly to feedlots, but our end game is the consumer. We want to create a product for the consumer that they desire, that they want to go back to the supermarket or steakhouse and they want more beef. Everybody knows the slogan, beef is what's for dinner, but it falls even more than that in that they've raised consumer awareness in quality, which is important to us because we try to focus heavily on our genetics. That's a main component of our operation, and the checkoff has allowed us to do that by promoting a product that's important to the consumer, that it's good quality, it's safe, it's nutritious, and they're gonna want to be return customers.
I'm Rexanne Strew, veterinarian in Western Iowa. I have a veterinary clinic and started doing stem cell therapy on dogs in August of 2014. And after the first 2 dogs, after 3 weeks, I saw such dramatic results. I said, hey, I have arthritis. I have joints, really need this help. Where can I go to get this done? I had stem cell therapy done in November of 2014 on my finger joints, my hip, and the ball of my left foot, all of which I'd had real severe problems with. Saw a pretty dramatic improvement in a short amount of time. I would certainly recommend that somebody don't wait until I'm in the position that I was in with the damage already done to my joints. I encourage veterinarians to use it for their animals, and I encourage anybody who sees this video, if you have need, get in contact with these people because this is a phenomenal place to have this done.
Hi, I'm Kim Mandring with Hardy Insurance. I'm here to help you with all of your farm and ranch needs. When it comes to protecting your operation and your family, you need a name you can trust at a price you can afford. Call me today or visit hardyaviationins.com.
This segment brought to you by Kansas Soybean Commission. Progress powered by Kansas farmers.
Hey folks, welcome back to Doc Talk. Dr. Dan Thompson here with Abe Steinbock. We're out here at Tarwarter north of Topeka. They let me out of my office today at K-State, let me get out and about, and they don't let it happen very often. But we are, and you've been a great host, and very thankful for allowing us to come out here. We appreciate the partnership with Ag AM and Tarwarters. It's been a long-standing partnership, and we appreciate it very much. When we talk about keeping our fences hot and keeping things, there are different things like grounding, and checking the fence to make sure it's still functioning. So talk to me a little bit about ground rods and grounding.
Yeah, I mean, one of the most important pieces of your fence system is your ground system. It's the most overlooked piece as well. Most people either don't have their fence hooked up to a ground rod, or they've got an old rusted T-post shoved in the ground, which works. It does. It just doesn't work real well.
Right.
And that's what we really got to educate ourselves on. The quickest way to heat up your fence is to get a good ground rod system put in.
So where do you place the ground rods, and you know, where relative to our charger and different things to that nature?
The beauty of it is we want to save ourselves on the line coming off of our fence charger. I mean, get it as close as we can, you know, 6, 7, 8, 10 foot is plenty far enough away. We want 3 ground rods in.
Okay.
You know, most people put 1. The bigger area we have to draw from with our ground rods, the more that charger can absorb, the more it can send out. So a lot of people will start with 1, but the problem you get into is you get into a dry year like we had this year.
Yep.
Your charger doesn't have much to draw from with 1 system. So if you get that 2nd and 3rd ground rod hooked up, you just have that much bigger of an area to pull from, and we want to drive those ground rods as deep as we can, 6 to 8 foot deep.
So you can get to moisture and help those.
Yep.
That's the reason why this thing's so long, right?
Right.
I mean, you're going to put this thing down there,
Yep.
try to get into the moisture of the soil so that you have a better ground and more power to draw from, so that you can put better out.
Bingo. I mean, yep, that's exactly what you want.
Well, I think a lot of people do overlook that. And then, you know, to make sure that my fence is still working, you have different tools that you have that you can check to make sure that the
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You can use a simple voltmeter that you've got laying around on the farm, and that'll tell you, you know, if you unhook or hook up the fence system and put the load on or off, it'll kind of tell you what the system's doing. That's an easy way to start your troubleshooting. There's a lot of tools out here like this. It's just a handheld unit. It's essentially a voltmeter, but Gallagher has designed it as a smart fix to where you can just set your fence right in there, and it tells you instantly a reading right there at that point, and then we can dial it down to where we either have a fault in our fence, or is it back at the charger. So they've simplified it. Now you got to pay for this. This is they're proud of it in the sense that it's a convenience factor.
Right.
So there's more than one way to skin the cat here. We can do it in several different ways. Most of the time, I'm going to tell you, it's a grounding issue. We don't have enough juice at the beginning, or our fence is grounded somewhere with a piece of metal or a tree limb.
Perfect.
So.
All right, folks. We have one more segment of the show. When we come back, we're going to wrap up with Abe Steinbock here at Tarwarters. I'm Dr. Dan. We'll see you here after these messages. Hey folks, thanks for joining me on today's Cattle First Minute as sponsored by Beringer Ingelheim Vet Medica. Today, we're going to talk about colostrum. Colostrum is the first immunity that a calf receives in its life. Within the first 6 to 12 hours of life, we want that calf to get up and suckle the first milk from the mother. That first milk is what we call colostrum, which is packed with antibodies, which then help protect that calf from viruses and bacteria such as E. coli and scours, in which the calf will be exposed to on the farm. The cow is a great source of antibody because she's been living in that environment, been vaccinated for different diseases. She produces those antibodies in the colostrum. We want the calves to be able to get it in the first 6 to 12 hours. So wait to tag that calf until after that calf has had a chance to get colostrum, because it's vitally important for the calf's health, and it's the first step towards raising a healthy calf.
Tarwarter Farm and Home has been family owned and operated since its beginning in 1978. What you need for farm and agriculture, lawn and garden, clothing and footwear, and so much more. You'll be surprised at what you'll find in this huge store. They have what you need and lots of it. So come take a look. You'll discover that customer service is first and foremost. Always has been with the Tarwaters. Tarwater Farm and Home, 4107 North Topeka Boulevard.
Valley Vet Supply is devoted to providing information and professional quality products at reasonable prices.
Valley Vet Supply.
This segment brought to you by Kansas Farm Bureau, the voice of agriculture. To join today or more information, go to kfb.org or find us on Facebook or Twitter.
Hey folks, welcome back to Doc Talk. Dr. Dan Thompson here at Tarwarters with Abe Steinbock, and we've been talking about hot wire fences, how to set them up, wealth of knowledge. Abe, thanks for taking time out today.
No problem.
So now we're going to talk a little bit about, some people are going permanent fencing versus temporary fencing, and I guess it depends on if you're leasing, if you own, if you're going to continue to use that crop residues, things of that nature, just to make it a little bit easier.
Yep.
What goes into those two different types of systems?
Yeah, if you want to go permanent fencing, the beauty of that is most of your fields that you're thinking about grazing on are already set up with T-posts. Maybe the fence is just bad and you don't want to spend the money revamping that fence. This is a affordable way to get cows grazing in there. So you can, come down and get just standard T-post clips. They've got them in an economy variety. We've got them in a heavy duty. Clip those onto your T-post. They've got them for wood post also, and you can establish your fence as long as your barbed wire may be in terrible shape, but if your posts are still standing, you can reuse them. Saves you a lot of work, saves you a lot of money.
Yeah, absolutely. And then the temporary, we're going to use different things.
Yep, they've got several options. There's plastic post out there that's already got the clips on them. Some of them have foot treads on them, some of them don't. Then you've got these are a little nicer. These are a ring top. The beauty of these are they're a steel shaft as opposed to plastic. So they got a little more backbone on them. Now they don't forgive as much when they get bent, like plastic would kind of flip up. Yep. But they're very simple in the sense of if you're going to run, a cow operation that you don't have a lot of calves on, this is a beautiful thing to use because you don't have to worry about that low calf running right under the bottom of it.
Gotcha.
Your cows are taller. It's a beautiful world because you can just run your fence in there and keep on going.
Yeah, you can just run that thing. You could stretch it and add one wherever you have a low spot or something to that nature.
Very convenient, very quick to assemble and put up. Very nice feature.
Well, what do we're running out of time, but what are some of the things that you would suggest people, if they're getting started or that with hot wire fence or permanent fencing, what are some of the things that you hear people come in and say, hey, I need help with this?
Yeah. Essentially, the beauty of the new fence chargers are they're a pulsating system, so they don't have to be on what I'll call a closed circuit. So they don't have to come all the way back to the charger.
Gotcha.
So that's the beauty of the new ones. They can pulsate out. You can end that run where you want to. That typically frustrates a lot of people in the beginning because they think they have to bring it all the way back around and close that connection off.
But now I could just run it out on two sides and be done.
Yep, there's a convenience factor there. So if one of your sides of your fence is bad but the rest is good, we can light up that one side and keep them honest.
That's awesome. Well, thanks for being with us today.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thanks for watching Doc Talk. Remember, always work with your local veterinarian. And if you want to find out what we do on Doc Talk, you can find us on the web at www.doctalktv.com. I'm Dr. Dan Thompson with Abe Steinbock here at Tarwaters. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you down the road.
Closed captioning brought to you by Ag Promo Source. Together we grow. Learn more at agpromosource.com.